Dinarland. First up from IQD calls chat, also known as truthcall.com/chat. T-Man23. Really quite simple. They either do it staring the second part of the financial semester, which is only a few days away, or they wait until the start of the new year 2018. They have said numerous times that the time to lift the 3 zeros is at the first of the new year and not the middle of a quarter or middle of the year. That being said, they once did agree to begin in June 2013, when Turkey was CBI governor taking Shabib's vacated seat. More from IQD calls chat. Chattels. Reports. Expert commentary: the fight for the northern Iraq-Syria border. Iraq outlines plans to rebuild country, inspire tolerance. Baghdad. Iraqi military leaders expect victory this week against the Islamic State in the battle for Mosul, and the government has unveiled a $100 billion, 10-year reconstruction plan for the country that, despite some challenges, is slated to begin next year. Ministry in Baghdad authorized to challenge Kurdish oil shipment by Rada. It does feel like a bit of a test case, energy aspects analyst Richard Mallinson told Bloomberg. Whilst Kurdish oil has found its home in the market, Baghdad hasn't seemed to want to try and challenge Kurdish exports. Although crude oil exports from the KRG have been delivered other places, the Neverland would be the first to voyage across the Atlantic since the United Calaveritas attempt to deliver oil to America in 2014, Bloomberg reported. Mosul, Iraq. Iraqi forces continue to make slow but steady progress as they are expecting to declare the entire Mosul city clear of ISIS in a very short time, with clashes happening in grenade range in the narrow alleys of Old Mosul. The death struggle continues. The Golden Division must be exhausted. Islamic State's last stand in Iraq, who will liberate Hajj? By Paladin. Many seem to think that victory in Mosul equals instant stability and security. Not in my opinion. It would have been much better, for Iraqi internal politics and simply militarily, to have done Hajj first, but the political timetable that directed things wasn't in Iraq. With the battle almost over, the Iraqi commanders were tripping over each other trying to claim how close final victory was. The Golden Division's General Abdul Ghani al-Asadi claimed that Mosul would be freed in days, and that IS had lost its fighting spirit. He went on to say that the militants only controlled around 2 kilometers of the old city. On the other hand, Federal Police Chief General Raid Shakir Jawaidat said only 800 meters were left under IS. Before that, the joint operations told the press just 1% of the district was left to be freed. The Iraqi generals are chomping at the bit waiting for the fighting to come to a conclusion. Unfortunately, that is leading officers to claim areas being freed when they aren't, and exaggerating the amount of the city left to be taken. Analysis: threat of war hangs over Kurdish independence vote. Kurds. Iraqi Kurdistan's referendum will include disputed areas such as Sinjar and Kirkuk, and betray divisions between Kurdish groups. Mosul, Iraq. Counter-attacks by Islamic State militants on the western edge of Mosul have stalled Iraqi forces' push in the old city, the last IS stronghold in the battle, an Iraqi officer said Tuesday. The attacks forced Iraqi forces and the U.S.-led coalition to pull some assets away from the old city to again clear the Yarmouk and Tanak neighborhoods, which were declared liberated of IS in May. The assaults underscore the Sunni extremist group's resilience in the city, Iraq's second largest, despite months of heavy fighting with Iraqi forces backed by U.S. air power. The most prominent laws that must be approved in the coming period is provincial election laws and the election of a new board of commissioners of the Independent High Electoral Commission, and the federal court in amendments to general amnesty, and other present to the relevant committees. Next up from Kaperoni. It's not my float scenario, it's the truth as documented by the IMF and other experts. Those who are technical and want to learn, see this information and realize how monetary policy works. It's not some magical event, lol. And those who study, see the case studies etc. and read the words direct from IMF docs know the dinar will float when the time and conditions are right. Most hold on to some magical dream they will wake up to riches overnight and therefore refuse to accept reality. Maybe by fall Iraq will pass some laws and have banking insurance in place so they can begin to activate the banking system in Iraq, which ultimately will allow for foreign investment and the float to begin. From Frank 26. Delta saw the new CBI website. He saw the 1.20. Interesting that it showed up in the middle of the night when no one was paying attention. You don't make mistakes on a official central bank website. Only the US dollar and the euro showed up. Alak and Abadi have done a job well done. A rate change is all that is needed. CBI hired a professional company to create this second website, including currency conversions, a copy/duplicate off of the existing CBI website minus the new math. This is the host of the new CBI website. This is a copy for the international world. In my strong opinion, they weren't supposed to show us this website, they were only supposed to show 1184 program rate, but in my opinion, we are so close, they might not care anymore. This new website is the plan they agreed on, no glitches on this CBI website, did you notice that? The 1.10, 1.20 that we've found in prices, this is not a mistake. In my opinion, we are very close. You can find this info about the announcement where Alak made the postpone announcement due to Mosul. He said that when Mosul was done, they would go back to the topic of lifting the 3 zeros. They did not postpone the monetary reform steps in the meantime. Wow. Abadi said they would be out of Chapter 7 by the end of this month. God only knows when this will happen, and so teams continue to study July 12th to 15th, but we don't think they will run this out until the last nanosecond. Announcing Mosul, in my opinion, will be like announcing the RV because they are connected. End report. If you want the straight scoop and uncensored information, go to the iqdcalls.com chat, also known as truthcall.com/chat, and join in